What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back for another midday monologue. How's it going, everyone? So again, as you know by now, if you've been watching these, I'm on my lunch break, and I decided to shoot off a little video. And this time, what I was thinking about was something I call tabletop to silver screen. We've seen tabletop games get turned into movies before. They did a great job with the movie Clue, mainly because they turned it into a comedy, and that had a very strong cast, so that really worked for the movie in itself, and it made it a success. The multiple endings helped also, I think, and it was really good. It was a fun, enjoyable movie. Jumanji, a lot of people consider that a board game to movie. It's actually based on a children's picture book. But it was fun. The picture book has to do with a board game, but it's not real board game. But the reason this all came to mind to me today was because I'd read that Ridley Scott is seriously thinking about doing a Monopoly movie. A Monopoly movie? Really? This is, to me, this just sounds, you know, right up there with Battleship. Really? Really? You could have renamed Battleship, and you could have renamed it Navy vs. Aliens, and it still would have made the exact same sense. It really wasn't the game. But there are great games out there. And like Dungeons and Dragons, great tabletop board game, and they've tried 3 times already, unsuccessfully may I add, to turn that into a hit movie. The first movie I don't even want to talk about. The second movie was a wee bit better, but still nothing really to talk about. And the third one, the Book of Vile Darkness, was probably the best of the 3, but it really wasn't very good. It really wasn't in comparison to what it should have been. When you have a concept like Dungeons and Dragons, this big, huge, meaty concept of ideas, characters, monsters, settings, all 3 movies fell flat on their face. So why do we hear about movies like Monopoly? I also heard Hungry Hippos is in discussion to become a movie. Candyland, Chutes and Ladders. Okay, for the little kids, sure, I can see it, probably make some money for them just from the families bringing their kids to it, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be any good. Lego turned out to be a huge success, but that's again because of the writing. It's because of the writing and the amounts of comedy that they throw into it really make it shine. But there are so many. I mean, we're living right now in a golden age of tabletop board gaming, especially thanks to things like Kickstarter. And we're being flooded by games, some of them good, some of them bad, but because we're being flooded, even the ones that are only some good and some bad, that's still a lot of games out there that are good. So why can't Hollywood look past things like Ouija, a Ouija board movie? That's just a horror film, really, because it's not a game. It's not really a game. It's just used by people into the paranormal and Wicca and witchcraft and other like-minded things. That's what it is. So what else is out there? Well, I think there's a lot of good games out there that could make excellent movies if Hollywood just wants to take a moment to look at these things. Descent by Fantasy Flight Games. I mean, right there you're talking about a rich, thick, full-bodied environment of fantasy and characters and monsters. And I mean, that is the basis of a good movie that can be born from that. Again, it comes down to the cast and the writing, but the seed, I think, is there for a good movie. Privateer Press is a company that has a game, level 7 games. I think there's 3 of them out right now. And the second game, Omega Protocol, would be a fantastic movie. Almost like an Earthbound version of Aliens. The second Alien movie with the Space Marines going into the planet. That's what this would feel like. Level 7 Omega Protocol, that would make an excellent movie right there with Descent. Both of them right there. Fantasy, sci-fi, great feels, great stories. It could work. Eagle Griffin Games comes to mind. They have a lot of good games in their catalog, but the one that really jumps out at me is the Daedalus Sentence. it's a great board game. Round board, which you see sometimes, but not too often. And the whole thing is that you're prisoners in an alien space station, and you have to escape. And the rooms are constantly shifting around. All the rooms, the prisons, the guard posts, and the guards themselves. Everything is spinning and moving, and it really screws with your mind. And that I think would make an excellent sci-fi movie. Z-Man Games. Again, they have some good games out there. I mean, Merchants and Marauders would make a good game, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of by them, Pandemic. Pandemic the movie. Yeah, we've had movies before where they're trying to deal with a World Health Organization crisis, some disease that's starting to spread. But this is 4 or 5, depending on which version you're playing, diseases that are running rampant all over the world, all at the same time. That ramps it up completely, and I think that could make for some really great tension in the movie, which would equate to a better movie than something like Monopoly or Battleship. Osprey Games jumps to my mind, especially their game Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, which is extremely darkly thematic, about a space station where scientists are rapidly trying to solve a problem on Earth, again with a disease that's ravaging people in the world, and they're using bits of alien DNA that they found, and it goes completely off kilter. And the scientists get infected by it, and they get turned into these alien monster zombie creatures, and they start destroying the place. The lights go out, everything is in pitch blackness, darkness, and the players don't know which other player is an alien and which is a human, and they're all, at least the humans, they're all trying to make it to the escape pods while the aliens are trying to catch them and kill them and eat them. And I think that would make a really good dark sci-fi movie. It could work. It could definitely work. Again, this all comes down to writing and cast and director play a huge part in this. But just for a seed of an idea, much better than Hungry Hungry Hippos as a movie. Avalon Hill, Betrayal at the House on the Hill would make a fantastic movie. It would be great. You can almost see them doing something like they did with Clue, with multiple endings to see who the traitor was. But I think that might be a little bit too time consuming for them to do, but it's a possibility. But with the whole betrayal and everything, and almost like the movie Doom, based on the video game, which I didn't really care. I liked the video game, I didn't really care for the movie, but the whole twist in that movie, spoiler coming up, whole twist in the movie that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wasn't the good guy, that he actually ended up being the bad guy at the end, was the best part of that movie. And it really made the movie shine and jump just because of that one thing, even if the rest of it kind of fell flat on his face. And Betrayal, A House on the Hill would give you that same feeling. Absolutely. Done in a darker, more noir, less sci-fi version than Doom, but it could definitely work. Far Off Games. Zaya, Legend of Adrift System. It's a great 4X space game. And I think that they could make a very good movie off of that board game, especially if you base it like on 3 intersecting plots, 3 intersecting storylines. One of them with a person that's an explorer, another with a trader, and another with a space pirate kind of guy, and how all their lives are merging into this one event. I think that would be a very good movie. I think they have the opportunity with that concept to take that brand and make that into a good movie. Speaking of exploration 4X kind of games, Mage Knight by WizKids. Mage Knight, you're dealing with people that are already of immense power. This isn't like a classic D&D game where you start at first level and you get better and you progress. No, these are guys that are already lords of magic and masters of the blade and powerful guys. So right there, you have this sense of explosive power and energy in the characters. So there is no origin, there's no building them up to where they're going to be. These are guys and girls, dragons that are already there, already at their power peak. Also, along similar lines, Ares Games just dropped Sword and Sorcery, and I think that's very interesting because the concept of it is that you were a great hero of the land, of the people, and that was some time ago, it was ages ago, and you're dead. But a new terror, a new problem has arisen, and so you've all been raised. You've all been raised, and you do need to build up a little bit, so it's not quite the same as like a Mage Knight, but the whole idea that you're building back to where you were in the game, I think would translate well also in the movie also. So I mean, these are a lot better ideas than things that they've done before, like I said, Battleship, things that they're planning on doing in the future, you know, like Chutes and Ladders and Candyland, Hungry Hippos, Monopoly. Come on, Risk. Yeah, Risk is a good game. I played it a lot when I was a kid, but it's really just a war movie is all it is. You know, whatever plot that they're writing for a Risk movie right now in pre-production, you could take the title Risk right out of it, I guarantee you, and put anything else in, like 3rd Battalion Attack, or you know, World War II Part 2. You know, you could do that, and I guarantee the script's going to make the same exact amount of sense than if it was Risk. You know, so those are my ideas for board games. What board game out there that you play do you think would make a great movie, or maybe even an excellent HBO miniseries or something? I want to know. So go down to the comments section and drop your thoughts, drop your ideas, and let Big Johnny G know what board game you think should be a great movie experience. So as I said, I'm your friend Big Johnny G. Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am out of here.